Most men think women are drawn to surface traits, looks, charm, status, but that's not what activates a woman on a deeper level. What pulls her in and holds her attention isn't something she can list off in a checklist. It's something she feels before she can explain. It's the moment her nervous system recognizes a man isn't emotionally swayed by her approval, her silence, or her storms. He doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't chase emotional drama just to feel connected. That kind of man stands out. That kind of man, not because he's loud, flashy, or even mysterious, but because he stays exactly where he is, no matter what mood she's in. That's the moment she leans in. Not because he made a move, because he didn't. He didn't panic when she pulled back, didn't try to win her over again. He just kept living, breathing, being without needing her emotional cues to set his direction. And that's rare. She's used to men who chase highs, apologize too fast, over-explain, or need instant clarity anytime things feel uncertain. She's used to men who crumble the minute she gets quiet or upset. So when she finds a man who doesn't chase her energy, who creates his own instead, she feels something most men have never sparked in her: internal tension without instability. He's not emotionally absent, he's emotionally contained. He doesn't treat her emotions like commands. He registers them, acknowledges them, but doesn't orbit around them. That difference feels magnetic. She doesn't understand it. At first, it's not logic. It's biological. Her body begins to respond before her mind catches up. She starts thinking about him more, not because he said the right thing or played the perfect game, but because he didn't need to play, and now she's wondering why his calm unsettles her in the best way. Why his steadiness makes her second-guess the control she's used to having in these dynamics. This isn't about dominance, it's not about withholding, it's about power that's silent. He doesn't use detachment as a strategy, he just doesn't get emotionally hijacked. That groundedness stirs something deeper than excitement, it stirs desire without demand, and that's what hits her. He hasn't asked for anything, but he's calling something out of her, something reactive, something instinctual, something alive. She starts noticing how often she's reaching, wondering, checking inward, not because she's insecure, because she cares. That spark doesn't come from attention, it comes from orientation. He's not moved by her gravity, and that's what makes her want to move into his. It's not detachment, it's stillness in motion, and the deeper she leans, the more she feels it. He didn't try to capture her attention, he became the kind of man it couldn't ignore. Women don't test you to destroy you. They test you to see if you're real. It's not cruelty, it's calibration. She needs to know whether your calm is just a performance or actual foundation. So she'll apply subtle pressure, a delayed reply, a slightly cooler vibe, a random contradiction. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to see if you tighten up or stay loose. Most men fail immediately. They panic, they over-explain, they rush to fix what isn't even broken. And right there, they reveal the truth. Their center depends on her reaction. She sees it, feels it, and something inside her deflates. Because now she knows this man needs her approval to stay stable. But the man who doesn't react, he just confirms something powerful. His emotional state isn't tied to hers. He can hold space without collapsing into insecurity. He doesn't punish her for pulling back. Doesn't reward drama with attention. He just remains. Present but unmoved. That response does more than words ever could. It proves his groundedness isn't an act, it's who he is. And that realization shifts everything for her. She stops testing as much, because there's nothing left to probe. The foundation is solid. Here's what deepens attraction in those moments. It's not what you say. It's what you don't need to say. You let the tension exist without making it a crisis. You allow uncertainty without demanding immediate resolution. That takes strength most men don't have. Because most men can't tolerate ambiguity. They need labels, definitions, guarantees. Their anxiety for certainty broadcasts weakness louder than any words. But when you stay grounded in the unknown, you communicate total self-trust. You're saying without speaking, I don't need your validation to know my worth. And that confidence is intoxicating. It's the kind of attractive force that doesn't fade when the honeymoon phase ends. She starts noticing her own behavior around you, how she reaches out, how she hesitates, how she measures her words, not because you're controlling her, because your lack of reaction gives her actions weight. Her choices suddenly carry consequence, not punishment, just meaning, and meaning makes her more intentional. This is where desire starts maturing. She's no longer just reacting to you, she's orienting herself around you. And orientation runs deeper than attraction. Attraction can spike and crash. Orientation builds slowly and lasts longer. The men who understand this stop fearing her moods. They stop interpreting every shift as rejection. They recognize emotional turbulence as normal, not threatening. And their ability to stay calm during her storms creates safety she didn't know she needed. That safety doesn't kill desire, it protects it. Because now she can express herself without worrying you'll crumble. She can be real without managing your emotional reactions. And that freedom, that's what makes her want to stay. Not because you passed her tests, because you never treated them like tests at all. There's a moment when everything shifts. She stops poking at your boundaries and starts protecting what you've built together. It's not announced, there's no conversation about it. You just notice her energy changes. She's no longer calibrating, she's contributing. Small things appear first. She checks in without needing a reason. Follows up on things you mentioned days ago. Remembers details about your life that matter. Her attention becomes deliberate instead of reactive. This isn't performative interest, this is genuine investment starting to form. You see it in how she gives without keeping score, thoughtful gestures, better timing. She accommodates your schedule not because you asked, because the connection feels worth the effort. That shift only happens when attraction feels stable enough to risk something real. Her emotional responses change too. Instead of escalating to see how you'll react, she slows down, communicates clearer, regulates herself because she doesn't want to damage what's developing. Care replaces calculation. The dynamic becomes something she values, not just something she's curious about. Her questions get deeper. Early on, she wanted to know how you made her feel. Now she wants to know who you actually are, your direction, your decisions, your principles. She's not just responding anymore, she's positioning herself within your world. That only happens when she's decided you're worth understanding at a structural level. Most men miss this signal entirely. They're looking for louder displays, more pursuit, constant reassurance. But real investment doesn't always look dramatic. It looks like consistency. Fewer emotional swings, less manufactured tension. Stability becomes her way of showing desire. You'll notice she protects the connection now, avoids unnecessary conflict, chooses her timing carefully, clarifies misunderstandings instead of letting them sit. That protective instinct only emerges when something genuinely matters. When attraction is shallow, she doesn't care if things fall apart. When it's deep, she guards against that. Her femininity becomes more natural around you, not performed responsive. She listens closer, softens her tone, lets you lead without pushing back. Not because she's weak or submissive, because she trusts where you're going. Trust unlocks parts of her that control never could. Another shift, accountability. She owns her mistakes, circles back after creating distance, takes responsibility for her part in tension. Investment brings maturity. When attraction is surface level, responsibility feels optional. When it runs deeper, it feels necessary. Men often think women invest when they feel locked down. That's backwards. Women invest when they feel respected by someone who respects himself. Self-respect creates the frame where her effort feels meaningful instead of risky. She's not throwing energy into a void. She's building something with someone solid, so the signs are quiet but unmistakable. Tests fade, effort appears. Chaos settles, presence deepens, and none of it happens because you chased it. It happens because you remained steady long enough for her to recognize what she found. Long enough for her to choose you not out of scarcity, but clarity. Here's what separates men who keep her interest from men who lose it. Understanding the difference between making her feel powerful versus making her feel oriented. Power gives her control over the dynamic. Orientation gives her direction within it. One feeds ego. The other settles something deeper in her nervous system. Women don't stay with men they can control. They stay with men who provide structure they can trust. When you're truly centered, she doesn't feel like she's steering everything. She feels like she's stepping into something that already has momentum. Your life moves forward with or without her validation. That's magnetic in ways most men never understand. This is why pedestalizing kills attraction slowly but surely. The moment you place her above yourself, the polarity reverses. You become the reactor. she becomes the center. And that flipped dynamic might earn you attention, even affection, but it rarely generates lasting desire. Desire needs you to remain the axis of your own existence. When you operate from that place, something unexpected happens. She doesn't feel the urge to dominate emotionally, doesn't need constant drama to feel connection. The interaction already carries weight. There's substance without chaos. Men who create this effect aren't withholding anything. They're leading themselves first. Their choices aren't reactions to her moods. Their boundaries aren't punishments for her behavior. Their availability isn't something she has to earn or maintain. Everything flows from internal alignment, not negotiation. She senses this as certainty without pressure. No rushing timelines, no fear of silence, no emotional tug of war over definitions. The connection feels optional but meaningful. And here's the key: optional meaning is what people invest in willingly. Forced meaning creates resistance. This is why she often can't articulate why she's drawn to you. What she's experiencing is orientation. Your presence organizes her emotions instead of amplifying them. You're not calming her by soothing every discomfort. You're calming her by refusing to be destabilized. Men who lack this foundation try creating attraction through intensity instead. Constant texting, grand gestures, emotional availability on demand. But intensity is just adrenaline. It spikes fast and crashes hard. Orientation is structural. It lasts because it's built on something real. When a woman is oriented toward you, pursuit becomes instinctive. Not desperate, not performed. Just a natural leaning in toward what feels solid. She doesn't need encouragement to move closer. Her system does it automatically. This also explains why she'll often violate her own stated preferences around men like this. She can list exactly what she thinks she wants, then find herself attracted to someone who doesn't check half those boxes, because her nervous system isn't responding to her mental checklist. It's responding to something primal, grounded, masculine presence. Your independence from her emotional field becomes the very thing that draws her in. She's not chasing unavailability, she's pursuing substance. And substance, once she finds it, becomes harder to walk away from than any surface level trait ever could. That's the paradox. The less you need her validation, the more valuable her choice to give it becomes. Here's a truth that contradicts everything most men believe. The less emotionally dependent you are on her, the more she wants to give you, not because she's chasing coldness, because she finally feels free to want you without carrying the weight of managing your emotional state. When a man uses her reactions to regulate himself, she feels it instantly. Every time he checks her mood to know if he's okay, she registers the burden. It's exhausting. She becomes responsible for his internal world without ever signing up for that job. And responsibility kills desire faster than anything else. But when she meets a man who doesn't need her approval to feel steady, something opens up inside her. She can desire him purely, without obligation, without pressure, without the silent contract of keeping him emotionally afloat. That freedom is rare, and it ignites something most men never spark. This is why she starts thinking about you when you're not around, replaying conversations, wondering where she stands in your world. Not because you confused her with mixed signals, because you didn't hand over certainty before it was earned. You let space exist between knowing and hoping. Men assume women want drama. They don't. They want depth. Drama is just chaotic depth, unpredictable and draining. What you offer is contained depth, stable but not boring, calm but not passive. That combination hits different because it doesn't exhaust her system while still making her feel alive. This creates an unusual internal state for her, calm and tension existing at the same time. Calm because nothing feels unstable or dangerous. Tension because nothing feels guaranteed or locked down. Her nervous system reads this as something worth pursuing, something valuable, something real. Her body responds before logic kicks in. This is why stated preferences collapse around grounded men. She can describe her perfect partner in detail, then fall for someone who contradicts half her list. Because biology doesn't care about checklists, it responds to emotional safety paired with uncertainty. What she's sensing is your absence of neediness. You're not monitoring her every reaction, not adjusting yourself based on her latest mood. not seeking permission to feel confident. And when she registers that independence, desire becomes voluntary instead of transactional. She reaches out because she genuinely wants to, not because silence from her might break you, not because your happiness depends on her response. She moves toward you freely, and that voluntary movement feels intoxicating. Chosen pursuit always hits harder than obligated attention. This is also why these connections don't fade quickly. If you maintain your center, attraction matures instead of burning out. Early tension evolves into trust. Curiosity transforms into genuine respect. Desire deepens into attachment that feels solid rather than fragile. The reason she chases this feeling isn't mystery or manipulation, it's emotional sovereignty. Being near someone who governs himself completely makes her want to get closer. Not because something is missing in her, because something is present in you, something grounded, something whole, something she can lean into without fear of it collapsing. Most men interpret silence as something going wrong. A gap in conversation feels like failure. Space between texts feels like rejection. Stillness triggers anxiety they can't control, so they fill every pause with words, questions, reassurance, anything to eliminate the discomfort of not knowing. But here's what grounded men understand. Silence isn't emptiness, it's integration. It's breathing room where connection can settle into something real. When you're comfortable with pauses, you communicate something most men never do. Your security doesn't depend on constant stimulation. Women mirror this energy immediately. When you're not rushing to fill silence, she stops feeling rushed too. There's no pressure to define things prematurely. No urgency to perform enthusiasm she doesn't feel yet. The dynamic gets room to develop naturally, and what develops naturally tends to root deeper. This is where conversations transform without any effort. Exchanges feel cleaner. Misunderstandings resolve quicker. Not because you suddenly became a better communicator, because you stopped contaminating the space with anxiety. Insecurity distorts everything it touches. Groundedness clarifies. Around you, she doesn't feel the need to be constantly entertaining, doesn't have to impress or provoke reactions. She can just exist alongside you without performance pressure. And presence without pressure is where real attraction settles after initial excitement fades. Men who chase emotional peaks never understand this. They want intense conversations every time, constant connection, non-stop validation that things are progressing. But peaks are exhausting. They spike hard and crash harder. What you're building is different. Valleys and plateaus where desire can rest and actually strengthen over time. This changes how disagreements unfold too. Conflict doesn't threaten the bond because you don't collapse into defensiveness or aggression. You hold your position calmly. State your perspective without attacking hers. That composure creates respect, and respect protects attraction even during tension. She starts handling friction differently around you. Instead of escalating to test your limits, she de-escalates to preserve what matters. Arguments become discussions. Disagreements become negotiations. The relationship gains shock absorbers it never had before. Over time, this groundedness filters your connections automatically. Women who appreciate stability lean in with clarity and consistency. Women who need chaos to feel alive drift away without dramatic confrontation. You don't have to actively choose who fits. Your energy does the sorting naturally. This is why attraction around grounded men feels inevitable rather than manufactured. No manipulation tactics, no psychological games, just steady presence creating steady pull. The right women recognize it immediately. They've been waiting to find it. She stops comparing you constantly to other options. Your solidity cuts through the noise of alternatives. Social validation loses its grip because something tangible is happening right in front of her. Not fantasy, not projection, reality. And reality, when it's built on genuine foundation, always beats imagination eventually. She knows what she has. She feels its weight, and weight creates gravity she can't easily walk away from. Not because you trapped her, because you became worth staying for. By now, something fundamental has shifted inside you. Attraction no longer feels like a game you might lose at any moment. It's not something you chase, maintain, or desperately protect. It's something you simply allow to exist. You permit it by refusing to interfere with its natural development. Most men suffocate connection by grabbing too tight. They reorganize their entire existence around keeping someone interested. Every decision filters through one question: will this make her stay? That dependency repels the very thing they're trying to hold on to. But you've learned differently. You stop making her the center of your universe. Not because you don't care, because you care about yourself equally. That balance changes everything about how she experiences you. There's no invisible pressure demanding she sustain your happiness. The connection can finally breathe. And when something can breathe, it grows without strangling itself. She feels this as emotional liberation. No silent expectations weighing down every interaction. No obligation to constantly prove her interest. She can show up authentically because your stability doesn't require her performance. Quiet moments no longer threaten you. Pauses in communication don't send you spiraling. You've realized that real connection isn't measured by constant noise. It's measured by continuity of presence across time. Someone can be silent for days and still be deeply bonded. Frequency of contact means less than quality of foundation. Men who never reach this understanding spend their lives chasing signals. They need real-time reassurance, proof before trust gets established. But you've discovered something liberating. Trust is demonstrated by how little proof you require. Needing constant evidence reveals insecurity. Requiring nothing reveals confidence. From this grounded place, relationships either deepen organically or dissolve without destruction. There's no prolonged confusion, no exhausting back and forth, no emotional wreckage left behind after things end. Everything moves with clarity because you never abandoned your core to keep someone around. That's the advantage nobody discusses openly. When you stop chasing attraction, you simultaneously stop suffering from its absence. Interest from others becomes welcome but unnecessary. You're complete regardless of outcome, aligned whether she stays or leaves. And here's what sits beneath everything else. Women pursue men who make them feel oriented because those men already occupy solid ground. They're not searching for someone to complete them, not waiting for validation to feel whole, not performing confidence while anxiety runs underneath. Desire doesn't chase instability, it moves toward whatever holds its shape under pressure. You don't need perfection, don't need flawless execution of every interaction. You just need unshakable acceptance of your own worth independent of her choosing you. Because something paradoxical happens when you release the need to be chosen. You become impossible to overlook, not through strategy or technique, through gravity itself. Your groundedness pulls without effort. Your stability attracts without manipulation. Your wholeness invites without demanding. That's not a trick you can fake. It's a transformation you embody. And once embodied, it never stops working. Because gravity never stops pulling, and neither will you. If this spoke to something real in you, don't just scroll, subscribe, and stay grounded. The kind of presence we're building here, it's rare and it's just getting started.